Almost 2,000 years ago, a group of people in feudal Japan found themselves pushed further and further away from the mainstream of society as they refused to give up their spiritual beliefs to the imposed conformity of the ruling class. The ruling power made it illegal for common people to carry or own the deadliest weapon of the time, a finely edged sword. So these people had to learn to defend themselves in different ways, to walk the path of their own chosen desire, and to blend in so as not to attract attention. They learned survival skills so unsurpassed that the name ninja became feared by all who heard it. But the primary concern, then as now, was to live and to let live in peace and harmony so that all mankind can reach their own levels of heightened enlightenment. This Black Belt Home Study course is designed to set you on the path. Nenpo will give you the power to overcome life's obstacles by coming out on top. And the skills you will learn in this series will give you the flexibility to roll with life's everyday punches, the courage to climb above life's obstacles. Only your own discipline and perseverance can carry you through to the finish. Your goal of receiving a black belt and all that it stands for. And view life from a different perspective from that uncluttered height. And what the insights that you've gained will help you to slice through all the things that are holding you back from being all that you can be. You may find that instead of being caught up in fights that don't concern you, you can just hang out and observe. Unless, of course, you need to take action, and then who knows? You may be so dazzling they don't even know what hit them. We will study from the traditional schools of Kumagakureru, Kotoru, Tagakureru, Gyokushinru, Gikanru, Gyokuru, Tagagi-yoshinru, Shinden Fururu, Kuki Shinden Rus of Grandmaster Masaaki Hatsumi of the Budzinkan system. I am proud to present this Black Belt Home Study course. Welcome to the American Budzinkan Dojo's Black Belt Home Study course on ninjutsu. This ranking system that you're about to study from 9th Kyu to Shodan was created by myself, Shihan Richard Van Donk. It was created from techniques that I learned from Dr. Masaaki Hatsumi, the Soke of ninjutsu. Dr. Hatsumi, as the Grand Master of ninjutsu, is a Grand Master of 9 Rus, or 9 schools, if you will. These 9 schools compose many different kinds of ways of moving, from jujitsu skills, from judo type skills, to taijutsu skills, weapon skills, mental skills, meditational skills, elements using of nature, stealth, many aspects. And these aspects that you will learn in this Black Belt course are ones that I have designed that will best enable you to learn the bits and pieces of the things in each of the different Rus. 6 of these Rus are Jujitsu Rus, and 3 of them are Nenpo Rus. The Nenpo is the aspects of how you yourself handle yourself in relationship to life, to nature, to the harmony of things. Whether that be with your family, or whether that be the things you do in your community, your job, and especially inside your own self and your own mind, for your own personal enlightenment and empowerment and ability to feel secure in your life, to be able to have self-confidence and to be able to go for the things you want and to have flexibility and spirit and harmony and balance. The Ju-Taijutsu or the Taijutsu is the ability to move the body, to move it effectively. We learn to move our body in the world through the ninjutsu system, through learning to do specific martial arts techniques in ways that teach you flexibility and harmony and balance of taking your opponent or aggression off balance. Sometimes it's true that the toughest battles you'll ever fight are between your 2 ears. Hopefully you never need to fight an outside encounter. We're going to work on lots of these different aspects in a fun-loving way, in a way that can take you into empowerment in many different forms of your life. I want you to know that even though these techniques are practiced in a way that can be very damaging to an opponent, that you only do what you do by the intent of your attacker. It really depends on the intent. The same thing with life. Awareness is one of the greatest gifts that you can ever learn or to ever give yourself. So throughout this series, I want you to concentrate on how you can become more aware of who you are and how you move and how you sense and how you feel and how you interrelate and how you react to other people, to the world at large. Because it is up to us to make a difference in this life, not just with our own, but with our families, with our communities, and the world itself. So let's begin, because this is an empowering series, and I'm really happy to provide information that I have learned from my teachers in the International Budzinkan system, especially Dr. Masaaki Hatsumi, and to teach you how to live your lives more effectively. Let's get started. Important things in our art is being able to have the flexibility of body, mind, and spirit. In beginning the positions, we begin with a phase of being able to integrate oneself and to attune ourselves to everything that life has to offer and every aspect of nature and what's natural. So we learn to work on a natural body conditioning known as Junan Taiso. In Junan Taiso, it's a yoga type stretching that enables the body to be able to stretch and for the energy to flow through naturally through the body as you're doing the stretch. We begin, basically usually become from the earth and the grounding in the body, beginning at the feet and beginning with like massaging each and every toe. And begin on working on the actual bottoms of the feet to open up the nerve centers in the bottom and the base of the feet. Create the energy flow. We generally do these a little bit longer through each one of these postures. This is just a demonstration of what you would do in proper beginning level Junan Taiso. Rotating the ankles at least 9 times in each direction is very, very important. You want to make sure that you do each of these exercises on both sides of the body. Hatsumi Sensei says that the most important thing, if you have no other exercise at all, that you rotate the ankles. Rotating the ankles because of all of the nerve centers that flow down through the body and flow through the legs to all the different organs and brain and connection of energy that flows through the body. Now moving up into the calves, massaging the muscles. This is a beginning form of Junan Taiso. There are many other kinds of body type stretching that actually stretches and loosens these muscles also. But you want to begin with a loosened and relaxed body. Now going down, working on the quads. Kind of massaging, waking up the muscles, lengthening them, stretching them at the same time. Now going into a back stretch, stretching the spine. All these things are done slow. With the back straight up and down. Notice how their spines are straight. Looking back over the shoulder. You can add the arm on the knee to get a deeper stretch on this. Because we do so much going to the ground in our art, of taking the other person to the ground and learning to flow with the ideas of the techniques and with life, a flexible body as well as a flexible mind and spirit are very important for the development of a person in their own journey and their own path to enlightenment, or only in personal conviction to living a more wonderful and powerful life. Stretching out the leg, the lengthening the leg muscles, the groin, and opening up the hips is done through this particular stretch. Notice how the toes are being pulled back deep in the stretch once you've got a position of being able to go lower to the ground. Notice they're still working on keeping their backs straight as possible also. It's not about doing this hard, it's about loosening and relaxing and letting go. naturally flowing to the middle, and that stretches and lengthens the muscles inside in the groin area. Pulling the feet in also helps open up the hips. You can press down with your arms on your knees to get a deeper stretch, or you can pull your feet in. An advanced form would be having someone come behind you and put one foot on one leg and one on the other leg. Moving up, stretching the back now, neck muscles, and loosening up the arms and the shoulders for a lot of the grappling type techniques that we do in our art. Rotating the shoulders, loosening the shoulders up. This particular stretch opens the shoulder even more. Make sure that you do each thing on each side of the body, left side and right side. We do a lot of grabs and a lot of throws with the arms, and this helps in lengthening and stretching the muscles so that they don't get damaged during training, because we train as much as we can without any kind of injury. We do want to train realistically, but we want to train so there's no injury that happens to the body. So we need to condition the body and stretch the muscles. Let's see it as stretching the wrists and different types of wrist twists and forms, so that during the grappling techniques that the body is already ready and conditioned to be able to take whatever kind of throw or wrist grab without being hurt or damaged. Next we begin with the neck, stretching the muscles of the neck, turning the head from side to side. And forward and back. You actually want to practice this a little bit slower when you actually do it at home. Stretching and feeling the stretch in each of those muscles. Make sure that when you do a head rotation that is very, very slow. We're working on stretching the muscles, not building them, as if we were using weights. We're working on a stretch here. Make sure that you go in each direction with your stretch. Moving now into stretching and linking the hips a little bit more, because we do a lot of moving from different kinds of stances and postures with our feet, keeping our body straight up and down. As you'll learn later on in this series, that the movement of the body and movement actually coming from the feet and ankles is actually the higher levels of actually doing this training. It's moving back into a posture, Ichimonji no Kamae. Junan Taiso.
One of the questions I get most often asked by beginning students as an instructor is how you tie your belt. There's many different ways to tie it, and some studios require that you tie it a certain way. The way I really tie mine is I just take one side, wrap it around a couple of times. This way, instead of having some sort of crossover in the back, I just have the belt double layered. Getting to the front, pulling the side that's coming from the left, or my right rather, underneath all the layers of the belt. At this point, I want to check to make sure that they're the same length here, because otherwise it'd be off center. Adjust it a little bit so that they're roughly the same length. Take the one side that's coming out of the bottom in the right hand and the other in the left. Flip this over, bring the left onto the top, pulling it through, and tightening it. Now both ends of the belt are the same length.
Sometimes the task is easier to learn by actually putting the belt on someone else. The approach that I would have is that I would have the person turn around holding their knees up. But I would take the belt and have it at equal length, to hold it in one hand or in both hands, so it's equally linked on the floor. Over my thumb in the center, I put it in the very center of the person. I take this belt and I come around. I stop my hand, my left hand at their side, and I take a bring the belt around the back, look at a hold, taking the other side, coming around the other side of the body. This one, I have to continue to touch the belt under, sliding it underneath the other belt with this double layer. This side, flip over, I take it in my other hand, the belt comes up underneath, going over the top. Now I take this one, I tighten the belt, I take and flip the right side over, the left goes over the right, comes up underneath, forming a knot. Pulling the knot tight, adjusting the belt on them, and ready to train.
Welcome. What we're going to begin working on in the very first thing is the natural stanzas and natural postures. Because in the natural postures or natural kamae is how you naturally hold your energy, your spirit, your essence of who and what you are. And it's how you're going to handle any kind of attack, any kind of situation that happens in your life. You have to begin with from where you are. There's many, many, many possibilities of ways of moving, ways of handling the aggression or an attack that happens. There's many ways of handling everything that happens in life. The basic forms that we show you are kamae, or postures, if you will, such as the one that I'm naturally standing in now, is not stationary, but it's actually can learn to be used in any kind of form that you can think of in moving with your feet, moving of your body. It's not a static posture. Even though that I will actually begin a fight or an encounter probably in this natural posture known as Shizen no Kamae. In Shizen, I want to have both feet forward, so that if it's natural in my ability to walk or to step forward, that it's very, very natural for me. It's just how I would naturally walk. I want to be able to have my hands in a position to where I can reach up and grab a hold of somebody or to deflect something out of the way. It's a natural position, natural posture. Now I may naturally stand and talk like this when I'm talking to somebody, kind of half somewhat out of balance, but we work towards balance in ninjutsu and balance in our life when it comes to our body positions, to our mindsets, to our spirit sets, because it's truly an integration of body, mind, and spirit is what we're really after. We're after learning these techniques to be able to change the way that we operate ourselves and our lives in the world. This basic position gives me an association if there ever is an encounter, and if I'm here and all I do is just naturally shift to this, this gives me an awareness, but it doesn't give an awareness to an attacker. This doesn't look real threatening. It doesn't look like I know anything. I kind of want to steal in. I don't want people to think that I know a whole lot, especially if they're coming at me. I don't want to like pull out my weapon and make it look like I'm tough, because they're going to go to a higher source with what they're doing. I want to save my techniques so I have everything at my disposal. I have my weapons so that I can use them. I can use kicks. I can use punches. I can move out of the way. I can shift. I can move farther back in different kinds of stances or move out into different kinds of postures. But these postures are, even in themselves, only transitory, that they can move. And as you work into the higher levels, you'll learn some of these other positionings and postures, that they move, they just shift. So they're not transitory where they're locked in one position. So basically, starting from Shizen no Kamae, the first thing we really want to learn is how to bow in to begin to start a class, because that prepares us for and tuning our energy and our body and our mind and our spirit before beginning the class. I would go down on one knee, go down on the other knee. Settle back down to where my ribs, my rear and my thigh, my legs are all together. My feet are not crossing, but the toes maybe barely touching, maybe an inch or two away, to sitting back on my heels with my back straight up and down. It's very, very important to have my back straight up and down. And to do that, I also want the fist distance is approximately 3 fists. So you can put another fist in here, maybe 3 to 4 fists. The hands naturally will be resting on my legs, primarily a half to 3/4 of the way up at a 45-degree angle. Notice that my back is straight up and down. My eyes are totally focused, straight ahead. I want to build the energy, the presence of who and what I am. I want to emulate my teachers. I want to take and formulate inside my mind and my body and my ability to move in my physical taijutsu to that of the teachers that have gone before me for the last 2,000 years in this art. And that they have tried and learned these techniques and these principles in a natural way of living and a natural way of life, and had to learn to defend themselves and defend their homelands. Hopefully we never, especially you, never have to do that. But at the same time, this builds internal characters, internal self-disciplines that will guide you to be able to do everything that you want to do in your life better, to make the world a better place in which to live. That has to start inside your own body, your own self, and then that goes out into the world, into your family, to your community, and hopefully for this whole planet, because it's very, very important, and it is up to us to make a difference in this world. Beginning in the bowing position and having both hands resting on the thighs, as I think about my body being straight and being erect, that I want to lean my body forward. My left hand comes down at a diagonal. My right hand comes down at a diagonal. My head comes down, bows to the ground, comes back up. As it naturally comes back up, my right hand comes back, my left hand comes back. So natural rei, or bowing to another person or to a partner or to a sensei, that comes down, bows, comes back, and watching. Depends on the level of respect where your eyes will go. Basic position. At the beginning of each class, we attune ourselves for the training that we're about to partake in. This is very, very important, because again, I am looking to my sensei to be a mere reflection of myself, to be able to teach me the things that I need for my highest growth, to take me on my own path of enlightenment, whatever that is for me. And it can be any religion. It doesn't matter what religion. It can be any religion at all in ninjutsu. It's more of you learning the aspects of who and what you are as a person and how you relate to the world, and how that will create a difference in your own connection to spirit. And we want you to be able to take that energy of spirit and to bring that and manifest that in your life in the greatest radiance that's possible, no matter what your religious beliefs are. We want you to enhance them and to make them more real for yourself. So, beginning from Shizen comes up into Kango Gasho, so that the hands are in this position. It's the basic position of just putting the energies of the left and right of the body, of putting higher essences together. This is a prayer position in many, many different kinds of focuses and religions. It's known as Kango Gasho in the Japanese term. And from this basic position, in the beginning, when a teacher is beginning to bow in, they'll use the word Shiken Haramitsu Daikomyo. Shiken Haramitsu Daikomyo. Basically, that means that from every encounter or everything that you experience in this training, shall that take it and be for your highest good. More deeper esoteric meanings, from every sound vibration shall it take me more into the light. But basically, I just tell my students that this is just as a Japanese greeting for us to bow into, so that our training, that we're asking for guidance from the highest source or from the people, our teachers before us, and especially the ones we're bowing into, are just our own internal self, to bring forth us the highest good for the training, to clear out anything that's not totally there for us the way that we want to be able to train effectively. And from this position that I take my hands, the sensei would probably say, the word Shikan Haramitsu Daikomyo, the class would follow, double clap, hands come down, bow, come back up, clap again, coming back down and bowing. And from that position, we're about ready to begin training. So in beginning training, I want to be able to move straight on from where I'm at. And in moving straight on from where I'm at, I want to be able just to naturally slide one leg up, slide the other leg up, so I'm not using any excess motion. Going back down the same way. Versus going like this, when we use a lot of excess motion and energy, we want to work on our weaknesses more in this art than we do our strengths. Too many of us are out of balance in our life. So very beginning, the very basic thing, even in sitting in the natural position of seiza for bowing, that I want to keep myself erect. I want to keep my back erect, keep myself in balance at all times. So naturally, as my body starts to move forward, I'm naturally just sliding this leg up, keeping myself natural and not having to use any excess or extra energy. So once more, as I just go down, natural, coming back, it's coming, working on balance and not a lot of extra energy, meaning basically natural Shizen no Kamae. The basic posture again in Shizen is the knees are slightly bent. From the side, hands resting lightly at the side, eyes looking forward, the back straight up and down. Natural Shizen no Kamae. From Shizen, the hands come up into Kongo Gasho. This is a standing posture of the Gasho that we were standing before. From Gasho that I'm going to be going into posture known as, for ninth kyu, is Hira Ichimonji. In Hira, basically, my hands are going to open and my feet are going to step out a half a step so that I'm in this natural position with my palms facing forward towards my attacker, my arms level. It can be moving some. I want to be able to rock just a little bit so I have this more free motion in my body. Sometimes this is called more of a wind type energy or benevolent type feeling, but a person has to understand that air or wind can be very, very soft and just lightly flowing like the breeze on your face, or it can be a gust like a hurricane and do lots and lots of damage as it's moved with the whole body. So there's lots of different ways to move with this, and as you'll see as we start doing this basic taijutsu against actual attackers. So this is known as Hira no Kamae. Basic posture, Hira no Kamae. From Hira, we want to be able to go into what's known as Ichimonji no Kamae. Ichimonji means straight line posture. It's a posture we use a lot in our art for punching, for kicking, for evading, for doing our taijutsu, or known as body movement. So basically, I just want to step back with one leg, and my left hand comes over as my right hand comes up to my face. So if I was to shift back into Hira no Kamae, I'm now just opening back up. Shifting back. The hands really don't have to move a lot. So I say about using least amount of energy as possible. My back still straight up and down. I also want to be able to move naturally to Shizen no Kamae. From Shizen, falling back into Ichimonji. On each side. Just naturally. Kind of sliding. I'm overemphasizing the slide of my foot so that you get the idea that the leg doesn't kind of pick up. It kind of just, from here, kind of just slides back. So I have this free sliding back. I can slide at different angles. I want to be able to work out of these three postures so that I can naturally go into Hira no Kamae, Ichimonji, back to Shizen, Ichimonji, back to Hira. Practice this free-flowing motion, natural positioning. A couple of the aspects of Ichimonji no Kamae is that if I have this line and I have my feet up next to each other, I would maybe take a fist, make a fist distance between my feet. Pulling this foot straight back, turning the heel out, bending my hips, bending my legs down. I primarily want 50% on the front leg and 50% on the back leg. Hands resting on my legs, and they just naturally kind of just float up. I can touch my face, one hand, the other hand would be pointing at my opponent. So it's in a natural posture. I don't want really hard, rigid here. This is just loosely, nicely relaxed, but enough so I'm not like this, but just enough to hold the attention of the energy. This can either be right into the person's eyes, or it can be down lower into their heart. We have several different options and postures in this, depending on which style or ryu, because we have 9 different ryus. One of the aspects of studying this art is that ninjutsu encompasses many, many different kinds of systems, from ancient samurai techniques to old aspects of old-style Chinese karate systems, open-handed weapon, using every kind of weapon you can probably imagine, and then some that maybe you've never imagined before. Also uses aspects of jujitsu, doing more grappling techniques, aikido type movements where it's free-flowing, moving in the body, judo movements. So it's like studying all these different systems all in one system. We work on trying to encompass anything at all that we can move our body with, move our mind with, or anything at all that can actually work in an actual combat situation, even though you're going to learn basic stylized forms and basic ideas and principles throughout the progression of this black belt series. Because this black belt series is really to teach you how to move your body and to be able to actually at home study each and every piece enough to get a progression over a period of time. May take you 3 years. Average time for people in our studio, in our dojo that are training with us, take 3 years. It may take you longer. I do know that people that do own this video set, that my own students that come to my class learn it faster, quicker, by being able to study the movements over and over in their own home, just as you've chosen to do. So we will help you through progression the best that we can.
The next thing that we're going to do is a kemi skill. The kemi is your ability to be able to go to the ground without injury. Because over 60-70% of all fights on the street in real life actually end up with somebody going onto the ground. We figure it might as well be the other person instead of ourselves. But if we do a lot of training, and the realistic training, we know we do our best to work without injury, and that's one of the aspects of an IQ is to be able to train without injury. That we want to be able to learn to go to the ground without harm or to ourselves at all, because we do a lot of that in our particular training. We learn how to have safety or fall. So the beginning thing we do from the natural Shizen posture. So if I was to stand in natural Shizen, I would like to be able to have my energy just naturally relaxed, in a natural posture, just naturally standing there. On my way to the ground, the first place that I learned to do is release the energy in my body, so that I just naturally go to the ground without thinking about it. If I'm thinking about it, I have to do all this in my body. I just want a natural release that allows me to go safely to the ground, or towards the ground. So learning to relax with my body is very, very important. So in relaxing into this position, the very first kemi that we teach you is called Zenpo Zagatu Kemi, or forward break fall. Now, a break fall could actually be done from a standing position, of course, and that's where most of it would happen. But at the beginning level, we want to teach people a safe way of learning to fall. And the safest way of learning to fall is to first begin to come down onto a person's knees, so they don't have to go from very high. I want to create a triangulation plane, so that if you look from elbow to elbow to build a triangle to the tip of my fingers on each of your hand. I also do that, as you see, with my thumbs and my fingers. I want to naturally allow my body to go forward, not reaching for the ground, because the ground's already coming. So I naturally just allow my body to roll forward. Naturally move back. Now that may be too high for some folks. You might want to start just at this level. Just to allow yourself to go to the ground softly. I want to work on using the more flesh on my body, or the meatier part of my hand, as I do this. Instead of using the parts where I would be hitting with natural parts of my bone to keep shadow. So I want you to just fall forward. And naturally I can start lower, a little higher, to the point to where that I feel is nice and safe, practicing my head turning to the right and also my head turning to the left. Where I come up from a little bit higher position here. Notice that I'm not reaching at this, allowing my body to kind of fall forward. I can turn my head ahead of time or right before I fall. I turn my head because I don't want to end up doing this with my face straight into some rocks or gravel or any kind of surface at all. Shown from the side view, that I may first start with my hands up in this position, fall, and then naturally be in a position to where, as I go, my hands just kind of float out. I may start to go from a little bit higher position to where this is the highest level that we teach, like at the 9th grade level, would be for a person to be at this level here, just allow the body to fall. So as you notice that my feet have gone up, because the progression of this is, as I'm falling forward, I may be pushed, so it has the ability to kick somebody from behind. So it would be, this is just a progression of where we're headed in some of these falls. The next is the flow back up here to the next ukemi, which is koho ukemi, which means backwards flowing fall. Now I just want to, very, very simple. I simply want to just move my leg out forward and allow my body just to go down. My leg just slides out on my body. I can go to the side or straight back. So run here, the leg comes out, and then slide back. Then from the side view, here, notice that I'm not slapping the mat. I'm just allowing my body to naturally flow. Koho ukemi. As it progresses, I would want to be able to move. If I'm being pushed, I may step back, naturally flow through the ground. Come back up on my feet in a natural position. Those are the two basic beginning ukemis for 9th grade.
Basic aspects of Tai Hinjutsu. This is the rolling and the ability to go to the ground and to be able to roll. We start first with Zenpo Kaiten, from a natural Shizen posture, going straight up over the top and landing on your feet. Staying tucked. Make sure that you breathe. Pick out a spot or a focus straight ahead of you so that when you roll, you come back and look. This is if you're looking at an opponent that may be attacking you. As he shows this once more slowly, as he naturally allows the weight to go out of the body, the hands placed up over the top, both feet back in the natural position and standing up into Shizen no Kamae. Head tucks, chin in, standing back up. This is Zenpo Kaiten. Next, we demonstrated Koho Kaiten, backwards roll. In Koho Kaiten, going down, leg extends, going over the back shoulder, does this slowly. Go down the hip, over to the opposite shoulder, back up on his feet in a natural Ichimonji no Kamae posture. Over the top, using your hands to push off if you need to at a basic level. Using your hands to push up, coming back into Ichimonji. Allowing your body to naturally go to the ground. Next will be demonstrated Zempo Kaiten at a diagonal roller. Naname Zempo Kaiten. Instead of going out straight, now going at a diagonal roll. Now as it's demonstrated slowly, letting the weight go out of the body, putting the hand down. Notice that the hand almost forms as an arc or as a C, and rolls down the arm, across the shoulder, and across the hip, standing back up. Once more watching Naname Zempo Kaiten, 4 diagonal rolls. You can learn to go at any angle that you choose by the placement of your hand. Great. The next thing that we're going to start with is from Dokken Taijutsu, or the ability to use our limbs or our parts or all of our body to be able to do strikes against an attacker or an opponent. And first I want to start with the very, very basics, like how to make a fist. The basic aspect of making a fist is I bring my hand up, that I want to take my hand and bend my fingers down, squeezing them tight together so that they stop right at the hand, squeeze in tighter. The thumb comes over and hopefully will touch the third finger. So I have a natural fist, and I hold this tight. I also want to think about as I punch that I have this level plane coming across, so that it's nice and level versus up at an angle. It's nice and level, so that when I punch, I'm punching with these 2 knuckles, primarily these 2. Not these smaller bones will break too easy, so I'm punching with these 2 knuckles. And that the other aspect of this, it needs to be. The other aspect of this needs to be just totally natural, that as I use this fist, that I want to use natural motion with my body. If I just have my hands here, it's just going to naturally float up to do this punch. Just from here naturally, punching straight up, straight at my attack, or my opponent. So it's just here, naturally punching. It's from here, but I'm using all of my body. And as you watch my footwork, so as you can see all of me, that as I move forward from this natural Zazen posture, that as I naturally move forward, I want to move, my leg moves, my hand, actually my hand, these 2 knuckles would move first. But I want it to be in a natural, just like I was going to reach out and get a doorknob to turn. So it needs to be natural. So the motion just comes naturally, and I just all flow together. So just natural into a forward Ichimonji posture. Done to the side, naturally standing, punching straight out. Sliding back. I could also start from an actual Ichimonji posture, punching straight forward. Ichimonji no Kamae. We learn to take these 2 knuckles to our target. Notice this other hand can just stay there, because as I move forward, it ends up by my face for protection. Switched it into the other side. And naturally, as I come forward, the other hand is there. Fist closes, the other hand stays open. These are basic uses of using a fudokin or natural fist.
Coming back natural to Shizen. Once more, it's a basic. So I bring up my hand, squeezing the fingers down, coming down, making them tight, the thumb coming over, and remembering of keeping this totally level. So as I'm going straight towards my opponent. Be naturally turned to the side as if the hand comes naturally up, that I'll be flat. Versus this way because it puts pressure against the inside of my wrist. It's natural to focus. Budokan. For ninth kyu, the next weapon that we learn is Sanshitan Kin, or using 3 fingers to do an attack. Basically, if I also start with my hand here, I want to curve, slightly curve the top 3 fingers, my thumb and forefinger come down, so that I have the use of this is like in a cupped position. I have accent for these fingers by using my thumb at the base to create more strength in my hand. These can be used for grabbing, they could be used for pulling here, they could be used for clawing, they could be used for striking up into soft tissues of the body. It can be used for like striking, hitting, doing all kinds of different kinds of motions with the hands. So it's coming up, striking. The basic form that we learn to use with that is from the Sanshin no Kata, which the very first form is called Chino Kata. Sanshin is one of the basic Kihon Happo, or known as the basic forms or fundamental movements in ninjutsu. The next thing that we move on to is in the Daken Taijutsu. Since we've been shown a couple basic things we've used in our hands, we want to work on some basic aspects of using our feet. The very first thing, or carry or kick, is known as excuse me, Zenpo Keri, which means straightforward kick. So if I'm facing straight at my opponent, then falling back into Ichimonji no Kamae, hands come up, make sure that your hands are always up. A lot of beginners forget and have their hands down through side. We have our hands up for protection and the ability to throw strikes and to be able to defend ourselves. On this basic level kick, that first, as I'm rocking forward a little bit over my knee, the foot comes up so that you see the bottom of my foot kicks straight out, comes back down. Comes up into the chest, kicks out like I'm kicking the door down. Comes, kicking down. It's like, because again, it's a feeling that if there's a door, I'm kicking through that door. Shown from a side view, that the leg comes up, kicks out and down. I'm actually stomping with the heel. I'm over-exaggerating the stomp, but it's a stomping motion, stomping form. Showing some of the basic aspects of the Zenpo Keri is that if I'm in Ichimonji no Kamae, and this is a very basic level 9th kyu, that I want to bring this leg up so I can stomp into the person's body. Coming here. As you see that with a person, you can see the dynamics of the essence of this kick. It's a heel stomp, and then maybe a push, and then using a Fudoken, if necessary. This is basically from an Ichimonji no Kamae posture. We have many different postures that we will be getting to. So as this kick again comes, I want it up in between me and my opponent. This is very important. So it comes in and kicks down as we progress. The other thing is that I want to be able to be inside and be close to be able to use this kick. I may be this close, he may put his hands on my shoulder, or start to. It's already right in here. Just a basic position. These kicks do not need to be high. They also can be low. It's a foot stomp. I'm kicking through this. Yeah. Once more, as I do this as a close-up,
Okay, so once more. Simple getting. It needs to be from a natural position. Okay? Natural. Even if a person is starting to approach me, I may fall back first. Into the body. And down. Okay? Sure. All right. It's from the Sanshin no Kata, which the very first form is called Chi no Kata. Sanshin is one of the basic Kihon Happo, or known as the basic forms or fundamental movements in ninjutsu. The basic form of this is being able to be straightforward to my opponent in a natural Shizen no Kamae posture. I first come back into Ichimonji, but instead of having my hand up here, I have my hand at my side, making a fist. And as I step forward with this leg, as it slides up, my hand begins to make the San Shutan Ken fist. I slide up, scooping up underneath. Notice that as I do this from a side view, I fall back to this posture. The hand comes loose, like drops down by my side. I'm kind of scooping up like a pendulum, but I'm also long and stretched out. So naturally, I'm falling back, swinging this up. A natural position or natural posture. That's known as, from the Sanshin no Kata, as Chi no Kata. The basic form of a person is punching from Ichimonji no Kamae. To think about the aspects of how it would be used in the Sanshin no Kata, Chi no Kata, that is, he punches, I'm standing natural Shizen, I'm falling back into this position. And from here, I'm moving back forward, coming straight up. To be up underneath the chin is the basic posture which we learn with this. So I'm just falling back here. Natural position to come into the body itself. It's this natural pendulum swinging motion. Once more. From here, notice the footwork. I'm falling back. From this position here, I'm slinging back up underneath. And we continue this motion here. Okay? Basic form of Chi no Kata. So, okay. Basic positions and for evasion of an attack of an opponent is very, very, very important. We have a lot of aspects of dealing with angles, dealing with distancing and timing. One of the truest aspects of our art is on distancing and timing, but primarily the distancing. What we want to first work on here is that if a person is punching from Ichimonji no Kamae, and I'm in a basic Shizen posture, if he punches right at me, he's going to punch straight at my jaw. Boom. The most ultimate thing is I don't want to be there. I do not want to be where this is at. Boom. Okay? Very, very important. So as long as I even move out of the way this much, I'm in a much better position. One of the aspects of our art is that we move more by moving our body out of the way than we do at all of being able to stand here. Not that I couldn't stand here and he punches and I move this out of the way, but more so that if I just need to move myself a little bit. So versus, see, that's all I have to do is when he punches, I just have to be able to, I could stop it. But the idea is instead of doing some kind of 4-minute blocking where I have to block out of the way, my timing may be off. I may be too late. This punch may come and I may go boom and I get hit with this. So it's more important to learn to get out of the way. In the very basic form that as he punches, I want to fall back at a 45-degree angle. I want to have my knee pointing right at his wrist or right at my target. I'm first hitting with this. I'm showing a very basic form. I'm striking the small bones in his wrist. I want to have my knee underneath so that I can rock. Also, it's in a direct, natural position if I'm still going to walk through. It's also in a position where I can take his hand, hit, take, punch, 3 times on one target. Again, this is very basic level. I also want to do this back at a 45 this way. Basic positions that we move back on each side. The basic form is just learning to come from 9th cue and just be able to place this hand in this position with that kind of timing. As I graduate, and he can punch, and I only need to be this far away. But that's not a place where it's going to be comfortable for most folks when you're first learning. So we first want to go by learning the difference of the distancing. This creates more time for me. Creates an illusion going back at a 45-degree angle. If I go back straight back when this person punches, okay, then he's going to be punching at me again, right? So, well, I have to deal with it somehow, right? If he punches again, I'm either going to have to close my eyes and try to punch, right? Or get some solid shot in here. But my timing may be off. He's going to be catching me. He knows right where I'm going. Boom, it's coming again. Boom, it's coming again. Boom, you know, sometime I'm going to lose ground, or something's going to be behind me or something. But if I go off first at a 45-degree angle, and he punches, and I switch again, I've switched my whole body positioning. He doesn't know where I'm going. So if he punches again, it's very easy for me to be in a position to do other kinds of things that are very, very simple to be able to disarm my attacker. We also could go off at other angles. I could also mirror his angles. Okay? Because with these things, it's very easy to add other pieces, other techniques to what we're doing. Okay? Punches here. I'm in the same position with him. It's very easy to do traps, throws, stomps. This is the end of 9th cue. Let's begin again at 8th cue.